he was tendering animals. And he loved to be with the animals. The animals grew very well under his care, and they multiplied in huge numbers. Oh my God. Nab Ayieta Azantilow took care of all the wonderful animals. Sometimes he spoke to the animals. He was so close to the animals, even at night. Sometimes he would be seen amongst the animals talking to them. And many people wondered if he was going crazy. But it was all because of love for these wonderful animals that he took care of. At the age of 31, in 1931, he was enskined as Sandema, that's the king of Sandema, the paramount chief of the Bulsa people. My brother, my sister, and that was the beginning of greater things to come. At the age of 31, he became king. In fact, when he became king, he realized that his area was very, very much deprived. So he started community mobilization. He mobilized the community to come hand in hand and work. Remember, all this time, it was in the Gold Coast era when the British took over the whole of the country. He was a friend of the British. In fact, he supplied the British with powerful soldiers from the north. In fact, the British realized that some of the bravest soldiers actually came from the north. So they decided to talk to Nab Ayieta Azantilow to make available to the British powerful soldiers from the north. So it came to a time, a big chunk of the soldiers that the British used in their several wars, my brother, my sister, whilst in this part of the land, came from the north. We all remember Sergeant Chokosi, who was ordered by Imre, Colin Imre, in 1948 to shoot at the veteran soldiers who had returned from war at the Christiansborg crossroad. And he refused. Colin Imre himself took the gun and opened fire, shooting 5 times, killing how many people? 3 people. In 1948. In fact, when Azantilow heard this, he was mad. He was angry. And he wrote to the Queen of England demanding answers. Chokosi was one of the soldiers handpicked by the great Nab Ayieta Azantilow to serve in the country's army. And all the soldiers who went to war coming from the north, they all spoke to Azantilow. Azantilow gathered them, prayed for them, and preached loyalty to them. In fact, he told them they were out there to write the history of the northern region and the people of the north. If they decided to write any bad history, their children and children's children would come and read these histories. He kept talking to them time after time, sometimes even writing letters to the soldiers to be read to them publicly. Nab Ayieta Azantilow did that when the soldiers were taken all the way into the World War. He was the main source of British power from the northern region of this country. The British trusted him. In fact, there was a time he even went all the way to England for the coronation of the Queen. He was the only one invited from this part of the world to go down there and watch and be part of the coronation of the Queen. I will give you details in no time. Remember, we were just talking about 1948, the Christiansborg Castle Crossroad shootings, where Sergeant Chokosi refused to shoot at his own black people, and Colin Imre took the gun and shot and killed Sergeant Ajete and the rest of them. My brother, my sister, in the same 1948, our hero for today, Nab Dr. Ayieta Azantilow, extended his development activities to other Bulsa communities, including Chuchuliga, Siniensi, and Fumbisi, where he mobilized the people through communal labor to put up primary schools. In those days, my brother, my sister, it was very difficult for people in the north to access education. A lot of them had to go all the way to the south in order to be part of government schools. Oh gosh. Remember, in the same 1948, it was just a year after Kwame Nkrumah arrived in this country, and political upheavals were ongoing. Remember the UGCC, and remember the so-called Big Six that was imprisoned, all because of the 1948 crossroad shootings. In 1948, after Azantilow talked to the Queen of England about why his people were shot and killed in Accra, he extended development activities to those areas I mentioned, Chuchuliga, Siniensi, and Fumbisi. They built primary schools so that people in the north could access education as well. Now, Nab Azantilow, from 1952 all the way to 1976, spearheaded the struggle for the establishment of the Sandema Middle Boarding School, and later the secondary and technical school right there inside Sandema. He was an environmentalist. He understood what it meant to keep the area green. After building primary schools and secondary schools, he went ahead to engage in tree planting exercises. He was the first ever king in this part of the world called Ghana who went seriously into tree planting. He made sure that trees were planted all over the savannah. People were supposed to plant trees. Every household had a quota. Every household would plant a number of trees, and trees were all over in the northern region to fight the vagaries of the weather. In fact, during the Second World War, the British colonial government relied on him to supply soldiers to the British, as you were told. And the British came all the way down to Navrongo and all the way to Sandema. In fact, the British decided to go to that part of Ghana, all because of Nab Dr. Ayieta Azantilow. Azantilow decided to be one of the biggest kings in this part of the world called Ghana, who went vigorously to develop this area and even more. Many people who were Northerners, yet they were not from Sandema and they were not Bulsas, decided to call themselves Bulsas, all because of the power of Nab Ayieta Azantilow. Oh my God, have mercy. Yes! In honor of his immense contribution towards the colonial army, the governor of the Gold Coast in 1942 called on him to give a word of encouragement to the regiment that was stationed in Kumasi prior to their departure to the war front in Abyssinia in today's Ethiopia. My brother, my sister, he moved all the way to Kumasi. All the soldiers gathered there. He spoke to them. He was a powerful speaker. He prayed for them, spoke to them, and at the same time, when they were even on the war front, he wrote letters to the soldiers, and the letters were read to them, oh my God, by the commanders. Nab Ayieta Azantilow. When he arrived in Kumasi, he met with the Otufo, and then he went to speak with the soldiers. In fact, he was one of the chiefs that was most regarded by the British from when they set foot into this country and when he became a king in 1931. Nab Ayieta Azantilow. 4 years before the independence of this great country called Ghana, in 1953, Azantilow was invited to the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. In fact, and he went all the way from Sandema, flew all the way to England to represent the country, the Gold Coast. He was the only one invited. My brother, my sister, that was how important he was to the British. To the British, he was the king of the whole Gold Coast. Yes. Remember, it was the time that the British had arrived in this country and they were getting a lot of opposition from some ethnic groups. But for Nab Ayieta Azantilow, he stood his grounds and he became a friend of the British, as long as the British did positive things to uplift the image of the whole region and not only his people. Now, when it was time for the independence of this great country called Ghana, he was the leading signatory to the independence agreement, which was supposed to be an irrevocable agreement of the northern region to join the rest of the Gold Coast for self-government. Remember, my brother, my sister, the Gold Coast in itself had different portions. Remember, the Ashanti region, or better said, the Ashanti Empire, was originally not part. And remember, the northern regions were also not part. It took the signature of Nab Ayieta Azantilow to represent the whole of the northern bloc at independence to become part of this country, or else the northern region would have been a separate country on its own, just like the Ashanti Kingdom. This is the African history class, and today we're talking about Nab Ayieta Azantilow. My brother, my sister, he built primary schools, secondary schools, and he went ahead, my brother, my sister, to plant trees all over the region. He was the king of trees, and he encouraged education. He supplied soldiers to the British. He continued to follow up with the progress of the soldiers whilst they were on the battlefront, and the British saw him to be the king of the Gold Coast. Everything they did, they consulted him. My brother, my sister, his signature was important at the time of the independence of this country. He was one of those that stood very firm and spoke to the Queen of England to grant us our independence. Nab Ayieta Azantilow. He served as the vice president of the Northern Territorial Council with his headquarters at Tamale. He also became the first vice president of the Upper Region House of Chiefs in 1960. My brother, my sister, at the age of 60 years. Now, between 1966 and 1972, he became the president of the Upper Region House of Chiefs, a period when no chieftaincy dispute was ever recorded in the region. During his tenure, there was not a single war in the northern region. During his reign as a king of the Bulsa, Nab Ayieta Azantilow made sure not even a single spear was thrown, let alone an arrow. Oh my God, much less a gunshot. There was peace throughout the period. In recognition of his immense contribution to the development of his people, the University for Development Studies in February 2005 honored him with a doctorate degree, and he therefore became a man with a pedigree. Oh my God. Nab Dr. Ayieta Azantilow. Brother, my sister, Nab Azantilow had been the recipient of several prestigious awards in recognition of his contribution to both national and international relations. I'm going to recap a few of them. In 1935, he was decorated with the King George V and Queen Mary's medals. And in 1953, when he visited England, Nab Azantilow again won the King George medal in addition to that of Queen Elizabeth. He was also decorated with a Grand Medal of Ghana in 1969 during independence. Oh my God. And also received a medal from the mayor of Gelligan in Germany in 1972 for his contributions to peace in the whole country and also in his part of jurisdiction. He was given an honorary doctorate degree conferred on him by the UDS, as you were told, my brother, my sister, and the citation read in part: an outstanding and visionary leader, believer in promoting development through education and demand-driven initiatives, peacemaker, and avowed crusader for sustainable development of the environment. Nab Ayieta Azantilow. In fact, Nab was very busy in the bedroom as well. He loved the bedroom. He had 8 wives. And out of the 8 wives, he had 57 children. He grew so old to a point he could not recognize his own children. He recognized them by their mother's names. So a child would come and he would ask, "What's your mother's name?" rather than "What is your name?" "Oh, my mother's name is Ramatu." Okay. In fact, to the point that some irresponsible people would go to him and just say that, "Oh, I am one of your sons." He would ask, "What's your mother's name?" They would mention the name of any of his 8 wives and they would benefit from his largesse. My brother, my sister, we are talking about the great Nab Ayieta Azantilow. He had 57 children and 238 grandchildren, as well as several great-grandchildren. And he became the longest reigning monarch. My brother, my sister, he died in 2007 after reigning in that area. My brother, my sister, oh what a man, oh what a man, oh what a man. For 76 solid years, my brother, my sister, he was king of the Bulsa. He himself died at the age of 107, making him one of the longest living monarchs of this country. Today we remember this wonderful personality, oh my God, who gave us peace in the whole of the northern region. We remember this great man who became the king of Ghana. In fact, the king of the Gold Coast, according to the British. We remember the only one who was invited to the coronation of Queen Elizabeth from this big country called the Gold Coast. We remember this wonderful man who made sure the British did not look down on the people of this area. In fact, there was a time he wanted a whole school built, and the British came over to him and told him they will give him a loan of £15 to build the secondary school. He told them, "No, keep your money. We would work and get our own money and build the school." He donated £10 out of the £15 needed to build the school, and the school was built. What a man. He did not believe in loans. He believed in self-sufficiency and independence. No wonder in 1957, his voice was one of the final voices that the British monarch had to listen to. His signature was one of the most important signatures in this country to give us self-rule. Today we remember you, Papa. Ow. Papa. Yeah, Papa. Papa. Uniyamiko. Papa. Uniyamiko. Papa. Mesi uniyamiko. Menuweko, Papa. Papa, mesi mama yo, Papa. Papa, mama yo. Papa, mesi uniyamiko. Papa, uniyamiko. Bye bye, you Papa. In the burden of knowledge, I ask you, how will the life of the great Nab Ayieta Azantilow impact your own life for posterity? In the burden of knowledge, I ask you, now that you know what will you do, be an enio le mini obafe ye zunda kagane mezaka yine ye pa bango bokaye nang fifi aye nyanu kai na wo bana enwe beren misi bana enwe be abade lele anjima singa beri lele anjima singa be konne. It's been the African history class, and my name Blakk Rasta.
Yabo! Tu babi, Papa.